One of the things I believe in is loyalty. I was hired by Bill Biddlestone in Athens County. I worked for Bill Biddlestone. I wouldn't leave the office to run against him. I worked for Dave Warren in the county. And I wouldn't leave the office to run against the man who gave me a job. I work for Keller Blackburn currently. He's been a colleague and a friend for many years. I would not leave the office to run against him.
I don't support forum shopping in civil litigation, criminal litigation, or in seeking election. I suppose in terms of disposition, we mean bringing cases to resolution or answering questions to the satisfaction of office holders or trustees or whoever it may be. My time, whether it's the same time schedule as someone else, is pretty much family, then work, and then community activities. And sometimes those three all get jumbled up, I'll be honest with you. Some days my priority is to my family, some days it's to my job, some days it's to community service. I try to do my best with all three of those. I think if you looked at my what I've done here for Vinton County in the years, it's over some form of the three of those combined. A lot of the time I spend doing community services with my family, so I accomplish a two-in-one. I intend to devote a lot of hours to the prosecutor's office, and I intend to do as much community service as I've always done. That's important to me. Giving back has always been important, and I look forward to working with you to do that.
Well, my priorities are similar to my opponents: God, family, job. And those are three priorities that are difficult. One of the other priorities, obviously, is community. That's why I'm going door to door and meeting so many people. I mean, I spent hours in some people's homes talking to them about what their concerns are. But for me, it's not really a change in priorities because I'm doing the job now. My wife can tell you, I've received phone calls in the middle of the night, go to a murder scene, get calls from officers asking questions about, okay, tell us how we can go about taking care of this matter. They have search warrants that need to be approved and read. I get an email to me, review the search warrants for them, tell them to make changes. So as far as priorities, it's pretty much the same priorities I have now. But one of the things that I do believe in is community involvement. And that's going out and seeing many of you, and most of you door to door.
Again, I can't exempt one set of cases, felonies or misdemeanors, from the plea bargaining process. I firmly believe that is to be analyzed on a case-by-case basis. Should all felonies be plea bargained to misdemeanors? No. Higher level felonies should not be plea bargained. But I cannot stand here and say, as a prosecutor, I am never going to plea bargain a felony to a misdemeanor. Sometimes, again, it's warranted by the facts, it's warranted by witness cooperation, it's witnessed by the fact that you can't find victims anymore, you can't find witnesses anymore, and so sometimes there are justified reasons for doing it. So yes, I will continue to use the method of plea bargaining, whether it's felonies or misdemeanors.
I think one of the things that you need to understand is that you have to have general rules by which you're guided, and general principles that are your foundation. And with felonies, if you've got a second-degree felony, like was here in county recently, you don't take that down to a first-degree misdemeanor, hand the drug trafficker back his cash, hand the drug trafficker the keys to his car and say, head on back to Columbus, come on back down, bring some more heroin in here so you can corrupt people. So you have to have general principles by which you're guided. You always have the specific cases that you need to look at. But you have to have underlying foundational principles. As a foundational principle, felonies should not be plea bargaining down to misdemeanors. Thank you. 14 years experience. That's the most important thing. You can't buy experience. When I was a new prosecutor, I had great mentors. I had prosecutors who've been doing it for 20 years and more. They helped me through the learning process to the point where now I actually get to train other prosecutors. I also train guardians ad litem, caseworkers at the Children's Services Agency. And so the 14 years experience, which is experience you cannot buy, but you have to earn day by day, case by case, trial by trial. I bring that to Vinton County, and I hope to be able to serve you in that capacity come January 7th.
I'm not trying to buy anything. I've tried for the last 15 years to earn your respect, earn your vote, and what I hope I can bring to the office is the ability of 15 years of experience. I have many, many years of courtroom experience. I started in the courtroom a week after I started practicing law. I have all the same training, all the ability to move forward, and what I think I especially bring is the ability to know in Vinton County what the systems are, who the players are, and how to work, as I have always done, within those systems, within those players, to do the best I can for Vinton County.
That's what I didn't get to tell you earlier. We do have over $1 million in back taxes. And what we need to do is actually go out and collect them. I've done that for Athens County. The proof is simple. Our taxes owed, our taxes behind, how much? And my plan is first to go for those people who live out of county and have property in county. Because what you want to do is try to convince everybody in county that they need to pay their taxes also. And so if we go after those individuals first, hopefully people in county will realize there's been a change in administration. This guy really is serious about it. Because we talk about increasing taxes on everybody else. Well, if everybody paid their fair share, paid the money that was owed, we wouldn't have to do that. And so that's why I believe it is a priority, and it should be prioritized for this county and for the prosecutors to do.
I believe that collecting real estate taxes is important. Obviously, by the prior question, there's some sort of implication that I'm not able to collect people's taxes because I haven't had paid my own. I disagree with that assertion. I don't think you should draw that conclusion. I believe that for people who are trying to pay their taxes, who are working hard to pay their taxes, who are doing what they can do to pay their taxes, we'll work with them just as the government's working with me. However, for the people who have blown off the obligation, that's not the way the system should work. That's not fair to the rest of us, and it doesn't generate the revenue that the county needs. I was recently involved in an estate where the people were deceased and had been deceased for years. Hundreds of dollars in taxes were owed. Why wasn't the county pursuing that? That's a clear obligation that exists, and there's no one to be detrimented by the fact that the county's pursuing the taxes. So there are lots of pockets that we can look at that doesn't harm families in order to generate revenue and bring people up to where we need to be with payment of taxes. I think this is a carryover question from last week, and I perhaps did not answer it satisfactory, or at least to the satisfaction of the person asking last week. But are they the same in terms of principle, in terms of the constitutional foundations? Yes. Are they more difficult? Yes. Are there different considerations to be brought into play? Yes. I think those should all be considered. So I'm not saying that I would treat the same in terms of preparation or in putting together a case that I would a criminal trespass over a murder trial. No, they're not the same on scope. They're not the same in terms of the involvement of the players, and then not the same in terms of the preparation involved. But what I was trying to suggest is that the principles of law, the rules of advocacy, the rules under which attorneys operate are similar.
Well, obviously felonies are more important than misdemeanors are. That was a question at the last candidates meeting. But even the rules are different. The number of jurors that you have, for a misdemeanor it's 8. For a felony jury trial it's 12. The number of peremptory strikes you get to say, okay, we want this person off the jury. Different between felonies and misdemeanors. But also separate rules that talk about the different charges. Because if you have a charge on a misdemeanor, you don't have specifications. With felonies, you have to look at the case in depth. You have to see, okay, did the person use a firearm? Because that could be an additional 3 years. Did they have body armor? That could be an additional 6 years. Did they have a silencer or a fully automatic weapon? There are a lot of differences between misdemeanors and felonies. I've got 14 years' experience. I've handled hundreds of felonies, 4 murder trials, numerous drug traffickers, robberies, you name it. Well, I won't say you name it. I probably handled it. Thank you.